The golden sun rose over the horizon of the vast ocean, casting its brilliant light upon the shores of a place where dreams were whispered to the wind. Mr. Rourke stood on the high balcony of his grand estate, his presence commanding yet serene, as he looked out at the arriving guests. Beside him stood Lawrence, ever faithful and observant. "Good morning, Lawrence. I had no idea the staff of Suntime Toys was so engaging, sir." "Yes, Lawrence, delightful, aren't they? But as you know, things are not always as they appear, even for such lovely ladies. For example, Miss Barbara Jessup has always been afraid that she is not as smart as she should be. Miss Andy Hoffman suffers from the fact that she does not have the courage to stand up for her convictions. And Miss Nora Leonard has the most serious problem of all. She feels that she has lost the capacity to love." Lawrence adjusted his suit, looking thoughtful as he replied that it reminded him of a certain classic tale. "Courage, a brain, and a heart. Does that remind you at all of the Wizard of Ounce, sir?" Mr. Rourke smiled faintly. "Now that you mention it, Lawrence, I wonder who is going to be the wizard." Their attention then turned to another guest who had just stepped onto the island with a look of intense determination. "Now, there is a gentleman who looks determined to enjoy his fantasy. Mr. Daniel Custer of Washington, D.C. intends to do just that. But his enjoyment will really come from what he is giving his wife and 2 children." Lawrence noted how commendable this seemed. "Oh, indeed. You see, his fantasy is for his family to experience the rewards of money and position that he has never been able to give them." It appeared very noble, yet Lawrence noticed the man was alone. But he seems to have forgotten to bring his family along. On the contrary, Lawrence. In his anxiety to please them, he sent his family on a few days ahead, so they could fully savor what he calls the sweet life. Lawrence nodded. "As you so often say, sir, splendid. And then they all go home together, a happy and satisfied family." However, Mr. Rourke's expression grew solemn. "Unfortunately, I am not at all sure that Mr. Custer will go home again, ever." The tropical breeze carried the scent of exotic flowers as the guests gathered. Mr. Rourke walked toward them with grace. "My dear guests, I am Mr. Rourke, your host. Welcome to Fantasy Island." Barbara Jessup looked at him with wide, uncertain eyes. "Mr. Rourke, do you think it is dumb that I am hoping you can find me some brains?" "Oh, no, not at all. Yours is an unusual request, but Miss Jessup on Fantasy Island, everything is possible." Andy Hoffman chimed in, her voice trembling slightly. "Except what I want, Mr. Rourke. Listen, I know I have some great ideas for ad campaigns. But I start telling the boss that they are not very good before he has a chance to tell me." Mr. Rourke advised her simply to wait and let him decide for himself. Andy sighed, wondering if it was because she was chicken. "Is there any way you can give me some courage? Allow me to work on it, Miss Hoffman. In the meantime, your employer, Mr. Wagner, is waiting for you both right now at the toy trade show. I suggest you hurry." They thanked him and departed. Mr. Rourke then turned to the silent designer. "We have not even discussed your fantasy yet, Miss Leonard." Nora replied coldly that she did not have one and did not believe in fantasy. Mr. Rourke pointed out the irony of a toy designer who lacked imagination. "You suffered a tragic loss 2 years ago, Miss Leonard. Is that the reason for your skepticism?" Nora looked away. "These past 2 years, I seem to be living without a heart. And that is something not even you can give me, Mr. Rourke." Elsewhere on the island, Mr. Daniel Custer was marveling at the luxury surrounding him. "You do not know what this means to me, Mr. Rourke. This is the only really big thing I will ever be able to do for my family." Mr. Rourke asked if he was sure his family truly felt the same way about him. Daniel admitted his insecurities, noting that his wife was beautiful and could have done better, and that his children likely saw him as a failure. Mr. Rourke encouraged him to enjoy the beauty of nature and find peace. Daniel looked around and felt a surge of hope. "Oh, look at this place. Mildred must have fallen in love at first sight. And what about my kids, Raymond and Natalie? They are living it up, right?" Mr. Rourke invited him to go inside and find out. Daniel shouted for Mildred as he hurried toward the house. Mr. Rourke hoped the man's enthusiasm would rub off on others, But Lawrence remained skeptical about those who rely solely on others for their own happiness. Mr. Rourke revealed the hidden tragedy of Daniel Custer. He was a man who felt like a failure because others were promoted past him while he scrambled to stay even. Even more tragically, the stress had taken a physical toll. A strained and badly weakened heart, which he has kept secret from everyone. And which, sadly, could retire him permanently at any moment. At the toy trade show, the atmosphere was busy. Barbara was presenting a toy that encouraged coordination and intelligence. A man named Fred commented that cute people did not need brains, but Barbara insisted they did. Nearby, Sandy was trying to talk to Mr. Williams about a campaign for a game called Over the Wall. She tried to find courage, but Mr. Williams dismissed her, warning that thieves were everywhere. Later, a man named Stephen approached Nora. They discussed a doll named Molly. Stephen asked if Nora had ever fallen in love or shared her life. Nora revealed the painful truth about her husband and 3-year-old daughter whom she lost in an accident. She said she did not talk about it because there was nothing left to say. Daniel Custer was planning a grand celebration. "We are going to top off our fantasy with the fanciest white tie shindig you can imagine." Mildred asked if they could enjoy themselves in a quieter way, reminding him they had always lived a quiet life. But Daniel wanted something big and loud. He felt he owed her the world because she was the most beautiful girl in Alexandria and could have married anyone. Mildred insisted she fell in love with him and did not care about position or money. She expressed sorrow that he did not know how she truly felt. Suddenly, Daniel winced. Mr. Rourke appeared and asked if he was all right. Daniel blamed the sun, but Mr. Rourke knew better. Daniel begged him not to tell Mildred. He had been a loser all his life and wanted to win just this once. As the evening began, Mr. Rourke greeted his guests. He observed many beautiful women without male companionship. Barbara mentioned she had turned down 17 invitations to talk business. Sandy was also trying to be bold. Mr. Rourke encouraged her, saying courage is like talent and gets stronger the more you use it. Sandy decided to go for it. Meanwhile, Nora was dancing with Stephen. Barbara and Sandy observed them. Sandy had discovered that Stephen planned to steal Nora's game. She realized Nora would be humiliated if she found out Stephen was only romancing her for a video game. Sandy and Barbara decided to use their brains and courage to stop him. Daniel Custer found his daughter Natalie in the house. She was with a wealthy man named Lance Hale. Natalie told her father she had told Lance that Daniel was a tycoon. Daniel was upset by the deception, but Natalie argued they were living a fantasy. Later, Daniel spoke with his son Raymond, who was writing a poem. Daniel was frustrated, fearing Raymond would not be a financial success and would end up trapped like him. Raymond promised it would not happen. Suddenly, Daniel felt ill again. He found Natalie and Lance together and became angry. Natalie defended her love for Lance, comparing him to her former husband Mark, whom Daniel had approved of despite him being a flop. Natalie cried that she was only trying to please her father. Sandy approached Mr. Rourke, upset because she had been fired after standing up for herself. Mr. Rourke told her she was in the perfect place to find a new job. Sandy eventually confronted Mr. Williams, refusing to steal Nora's game for him even if it meant losing another job. Meanwhile, Daniel was in bed after fainting. The doctor and Mildred were there. Mr. Rourke informed Daniel that Mildred had known about his heart condition for a long time. Daniel realized he had underestimated his family. Mr. Rourke pointed out that the understanding and happiness had to come from within himself, not just wealth. In a final effort to save the day, Barbara used her intelligence to deal with the buyers, while Sandy reclaimed her job by proving her worth to the boss. Nora, however, faced a heartbreak when she realized Stephen's true intentions. She told him he had broken her heart but admitted that at least she knew she still had a heart because she felt it breaking. Sandy and Barbara supported her. Sandy told her boss that firing her was a mistake and that she knew her business better than anyone. The grand party went on, though the atmosphere shifted. Raymond and Natalie were looking for their father. Mildred appeared, looking beautiful but sad. She told them that Daniel's heart had finally stopped. She said he wanted them to know how proud he was and how much he loved them. Mr. Rourke stepped forward to read a poem Raymond had written, which Daniel had cherished in his final moments. The poem spoke of a man who found gold at the end of a rainbow but realized the true light was in heaven, and eventually dipped his heart in gold. As the guests prepared to leave, they thanked Mr. Rourke. He explained that they all possessed the qualities they sought long before they arrived, they simply needed to stop letting others judge them. Nora was given a note from Stephen, who was unhappy. Mr. Rourke told Nora that now her heart was open, she would be free to love again soon. He spoke of the value Daniel found in himself through the love of his family. What greater gifteth man than that he is loved and loves? Lawrence asked if Mr. Rourke wrote poetry. Not on this island, he replied. He bid them farewell, promising to make their most cherished fantasies come true if they ever returned.